So now we have seen that 18th Amendment has passed. Now we discuss how powers were transferred, or what powers were transferred from federal government to the provincial government under the 18th Amendment. So let's first start with what 18th Amendment couldn't do. So in the Charter of Democracy, we had the creation of a constitutional court, which would have discussed constitutional issues, not the Supreme Court, but this new constitutional court. This was not established. There was the non-appointment of PCO judges. So any judge who has taken oath on PCO was not to be part of the superior courts, but this was not done. Merging of FATA with NWFP or KP, that was also not done, which has been done this year. Then Article 62, 63. Then the Charter of Democracy also called for a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. This was not done. There was also a call for Kargil Commission, which was not done. National Democracy Commission for Civic Education, again not established under 18th Amendment. And then there was the Constitution to review the legitimacy of land allotments to the military. Again, this was not done. While 18th Amendment gave the powers, another important development which came 1 year before the 18th Amendment was the 7th NFC Award, or 7th National Finance Commission Award. This was done in 2009, and as I've discussed, National Finance Commission divides the resources between the Federation and the provinces, and between the provinces. So what this 7th NFC Award under the 1973 Constitution did was something extraordinary. So it not only increased the provincial share, so it decreased the federal share in the revenues and increased the share of the provinces, but also for the first time introduced a multi-sectoral formula for resource distribution. So previously the taxes collected were divided between the provinces on the basis of population only. So of course only Punjab benefited most. But in 2009 this was changed, and unlike the first 6 NFC award, 2 or 3 additional mayors were also introduced. So with population there was also the inverse population density and poverty, so they were also introduced. So in this way the share of Punjab was lessened and the share of KP and Balochistan was increased. There were also extra funds given to KP and Balochistan. The federal government also reduced its collection charges. So the taxes collected by the federal government charged about 5.2% from the provinces for collecting their money. But in the 7th NFC Award, it was changed to only 1%. And services were taxed by the federal government. They were also given to the provinces, as was given in the Constitution. So under the 18th Amendment, 34% of the Constitution was changed, so more than 1/3. Implementation Commission was also established because there was a fear that civil military bureaucracy will not allow this 18th Amendment to be implemented. So an implementation commission under Raza Rabbani again was established, and it was given a 1 year's time frame to implement the 18th Amendment. So according to Raza Rabbani, provincial autonomy given under the 18th Constitutional Amendment cannot be considered an ideal situation, but it is the biggest step in the history toward provincial autonomy in Pakistan. So this was it was not perfect, but it's the best they could do. So first phase of devolution from federal ministries to provinces was completed in December 2010, and the devolved ministries were Special Initiatives, Zakat and Rushar, Youth Affairs and Population Welfare, Local Government, and Rural Development. In the second phase, which work was completed in April 2011, the ministries devolved were Education, Social Welfare and Special Education, Livestock and Dairy Development, and Culture and Tourism. And in the last phase, which completed in June-July 2011, the ministries devolved were food and agriculture, health, labor and manpower, women development, sports, environment, and minority affairs.